All right, we will go ahead and get started. Um, Thank you all for joining us tonight for our 2020 version of our Hunt Social, our Hunt Iowa Social. We're excited to have everybody online virtual tonight. We've got some great folks from various organizations joining us. So if you've got some questions, you'll have a chance to just chat with them and ask questions as a group. This is really our first attempt at doing a social like this virtually, so we're learning as much as you are about the process. We hope it's going to be fun. We certainly anticipate it being a good time. If you haven't had a chance to join us for one of our socials before in person, they've been held in the past at a couple of different retailers, one in Iowa City and then at a local fire department up in Saylorville in the Des Moines area. And those evenings are just designed to get folks out of their houses and into a setting where we can talk about hunting and the outdoors and talk about the good things that we're going to be happening that fall. We usually had some food. We usually had some drinks and beverages. So if you want to pour yourself a cold one, you're welcome to do so. But it's just that evening to casually talk and hang out. So that's what we're hoping to do tonight with you all. So again, thanks for joining us. A couple of things before we get going. Just want to, probably the biggest rule tonight is we just want to ask you to keep your mic muted while you're not talking. And you can find that button up in the upper right of your picture window of yourself. There should be a button that says. See, you couldn't hear me there for a second. So yeah, just try that mute button out for us and make sure that that's pushed down and clicked if you're not speaking. That'll do a lot of good in terms of background noise. Tonight, if you have a question and someone's in the middle of talking, you've got a couple of options. You can go down to the bottom of your screen and punch the chat feature, and you can type in your question to everyone, and we'll see that question. So I'm putting in one right now that says, type your question here. And then everybody should have gotten a notification at the bottom of their screen with that little update there. So we'll answer questions that way. If you get really excited and you need one answered right away, you can click on the reactions window down at the bottom of your screen on the right, down in your toolbar, and just give us the thumbs up. Just like that, and then I'll know to try to find you and call on you. So those are the rules. The other thing to go along with asking questions is that we do have a few door prizes to give away tonight. We'll be stopping to do that along the way. And if you are submitting a question through the chat feature or by clicking your thumbs up icon, then we'll jot your name down and make sure that your name goes in the hat for that door prize drawing whenever we take a break. So really excited. I see people waving at each other and haven't seen each other in a few months, and it's good to see. So it's a good time. We're looking forward to it. The biggest component of this is to try to provide some social support. As hunters and outdoor enthusiasts, we need people to go with us. We need people to help us along this journey, to give us some guidance, I dare say mentor us, but probably the biggest tool out there is just having each other. And so that's the entire purpose of this evening, is just to get together, ask some questions. You can pretend we're sitting around a campfire if you want to in the mountains. That's completely fine to me. But it's just a night to get together and hang out, because without social support, a lot of times people get started into hunting and they can't keep up because challenges come along in life, and without people to encourage us and keep us up into it, it's hard to stick with anything these days. So again, thanks for taking the time tonight to join us. With that being said, we're going to take some time now to introduce some folks. We're really excited to have a few of them on hand. I will start out right out of the gate, and wow, that was just timing there. Somebody typed in Pheasants Forever. That's awesome. Thank you. I got a feeling I know who that was. My name is Jamie Cook. I'm the state coordinator for Pheasants Forever and Quail Forever here in Iowa. I am a budding upland enthusiast, and so that means that I've gone out hunting several times. I enjoy shooting roosters and eating quail, but I haven't made the commitment in getting a dog yet. It's coming, but I'm new to the idea and get to work every day for a great organization. So I'm going to take a couple of minutes just to talk briefly about my organization. I think the easiest thing to do is share my screen with you all, which I'm going to do right now. Next, we have with us Tim Powers. Tim, you're with Whitetails Unlimited. We're excited to have you here tonight. Why don't you go ahead and take a few minutes, just talk about your organization for us.
Okay, there we go. I think I got my volume up and running now. Tim Powers, been with Whitetails Unlimited since 1992. The organization started in 1982, and currently we have nationwide about 113,000 members. I coordinate the programs throughout Iowa. We have 22 reps that cover the United States, but my main focus is Iowa. Just a couple quick pointers here. Our mission is to raise funds in support of three major areas: educational programs, wildlife habitat enhancement, and land acquisitions, which we help out with the DNR and county conservation, and preservation of the shooting sports and hunting tradition for future generations. Those are our three major goals. As of today, we've had just over $94 million that we put into projects throughout our chapter areas and nationally. Some of the big perks of Whitetails Unlimited, off of my opinion of this, would be when people start their own chapter, there's no out-of-pocket expense to anybody that gets involved. The National provides a full package. So merchandise, guns, and things like that is all provided by myself in the National office. Also, the chapter receives half the money. When the event's over, they receive half of the profit to use on local projects. The other half is used on state and national projects. Conducting the event, Whitetails Unlimited, we have a staff that helps throughout the entire event from the beginning to the end with the committee. So those are some pretty big perks in my eyes. If you have any interest in Whitetails Unlimited, you can look up whitetailsunlimited.com, and you can Google the different states for representatives, and just like myself. So happy to be aboard and answer any questions people may have. So that's all I have, Jamie.
Yeah, thank you, Tim. As Tim said, feel free to start dropping your questions in the chat feature. I know that we've already had a couple going live. I also wanted to let Matt Bruner take a second to just wave. Matt is one of our dedicated conservation officers. He's already been fielding some questions as we speak about residency. So if you have any sort of law enforcement related questions, you can send those in right away, and he'll be answering those through the chat feature. But again, Tim, thank you. One of the other follow-ups is next week, we're going to try to get an email out to all of you that has some of the information that we presented tonight. Any of the discussion items that we felt like we need to try to get more information to you about, including websites and other information about membership of these organizations. All that will be in an email for you next week coming to your inbox. So be watching for that. All right, I did manage to figure out what my problem was, so I'm going to take a second and share my screen and talk a little bit more about Pheasants Forever. Pheasants Forever is a nonprofit organization dedicated to the conservation of pheasants, quail, and other wildlife, mostly through habitat improvements, but we also are very supportive in public awareness, education, and land management policies and programs. That really comes down to a couple of three things. The first is we have a strong presence in Washington, D.C. and in Des Moines. We have a system of dedicated staff and volunteers that give and show up to discuss legislative action policy and be both in Des Moines and in D.C. To voice our concerns over conservation matters and issues. The other is that we're big on education. We have a growing team of professionals out there that put on courses just like this and other upland courses throughout the year to try to recruit, retain, and reactivate a new generation of hunters, both youth and adult. And so we can't do that without the support of our volunteers and our chapters. Iowa is home to over 100 PF chapters in 99 counties. So we're about as common as your local post office or maybe your neighborhood Casey's. So we've got one in about every county. We're proud of that fact. We get out and do a lot of work. That third component I was going to tell you about is habitat. We have a professional staff of about 13 here in the state that work with private landowners and farmers every year in making land management decisions that will benefit wildlife here in the Hawkeye State. Besides them, the chapters I just mentioned are enormous powerhouses to get habitat programs and projects done. They partner with the state agency, the DNR. They partner with Natural Heritage Foundation. They partner with a lot of other groups to make sure that quality wildlife habitat is being put on the landscape here in Iowa. So a very neat organization to be a part of. If you're interested, check out pheasantsforever.org. It's a website that I just shared with you there, and you can see all sorts of fun things. You can even find out items like here have great success in pheasant habitat, which coming from the hills of Kentucky out to the prairie state, I had a hard time thinking that big deer bedded down in grass, but boy, have I learned the opposite since coming out here and walking some of these fields chasing roosters. And so there's all sorts of other things. You can check out our store, see some sweet gear, and we always have a dog of the day. That's probably the fourth pillar to our organization is dogs. And so if you're just a dog lover, a dog enthusiast, you can check out that as well. Down here at the bottom of the screen, you'll see real quickly where the money goes when you purchase a membership. Over 91% of our projects go directly to program service. The habitat project, public awareness and education, just like I mentioned. 6% go to our fundraising efforts, and only 3% go to administration. And we also like to boast that over 91% of our members get out and actually chase birds in the field. And so we're really proud of that. Down here at the bottom, there's always neat updates, social media schemes, and all sorts of things to come and check out. We have great programs. We have Women on the Wing program. I think I've seen a couple of participants on here tonight that took in that last year. It's a great program. So if you're interested in learning more about Pheasants Forever, check us out at pheasantsforever.org, or feel free to message me during the event tonight. Be happy to reach out to you and talk to you more about finding a local chapter. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and introduce Rachel Vanderworth. Rachel is going to be representing two organizations tonight. She's going to be representing her own organization, which she's founder. It is called Edible Outdoors. She's also going to be representing Backcountry Hunters and Anglers. Rachel?
All right, hello everyone. I'm really excited to be here. It's great to be able to still kind of socialize in this environment. So yeah, I run Edible Outdoors. I started it about 6 years ago. I am a new hunter. So really, I've only been hunting for 6 years since I started Edible Outdoors. I really wanted to hunt and just didn't have any resources. So I started an organization so that I could go hunting. Our organization, we do classes in hunting, fishing, and foraging. The purpose is to get people outside, to get people together, and to understand that there is food everywhere. So that's really our main goal, focusing in on conservation as well. The DNR has been so helpful with my organization. I'm extremely thankful to them. And really the organization is for everyone. It's for people who do not hunt, and it's also for people who do hunt. So we've had target practice and chef demo classes. And of course, the target practice can be for someone who's never picked up a gun before to people who have, you know, been hunting since they were a kid and just want to maybe tweak their skills a little bit and learn some cooking techniques. This year for our classes, it's obviously been a little bit different. We've done 2 classes virtually. We did a fly fishing and fly tying class where we sent kits home to people and did an activity together. And then just a couple nights ago, actually, we had a duck chef demo, and we cooked live with a chef. It was a really awesome class. So our next class that we're going to have is on December 12th. And we're actually collaborating with the Iowa chapter of the Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, which I will talk about a bit later. This class is going to be a deer butchering class and a venison chef demo. So if you take your meat to the locker, or if you just want to, you know, learn a few different things about butchering or a few different things about cooking, the chef is going to be cooking, I think, 2 to 3 different cuts of meat and making different recipes. He's an incredible chef, so it'll be great to learn from him. And during the whole class, it's going to be live, and so we'll be open to questions. So you can ask questions to the chef and also to the folks who will be butchering the deer during the whole class. So that'll be a good one. In spring, we're going to do a forage and wildlife tracking class. I'm not sure yet if that's going to be virtual or in person. I'm hoping in person. It just kind of really depends on the state of where we're at. And then that's followed by an archaeological fishing trip. That is where we will learn about traditional fishing techniques. And then as well, we're going to do some bow and spear fishing. And if you've never bow fished, it's really fun. I feel like I could probably do that all day. So that'll be a fun class. And if you're interested in getting on the email list, I'm going to send my email here to everyone. So you can just send me your email. Also, you can follow us on Facebook or follow us on Instagram, and you can also send me a message there if you want to get on the email list. It's just a good way to make sure that you find out about the classes. So I think that's what I got for Edible Outdoors. I'm also on the board for the Iowa Backcountry Hunters and Anglers. And if you haven't heard about it, it is an incredible organization. It is across North America. There's chapters in most of the states in the US, and then there's also chapters up in Canada. So they are all about public lands and conservation. I'm just going to read their kind of mission, their quick mission statement. Backcountry Hunters and Anglers seeks to ensure North America's outdoor heritage of hunting and fishing through education and work on behalf of wild public lands and waters. So if you're interested, I would definitely recommend becoming a member to that organization. They do a lot of legislative work as well, which is really important to make sure that our outdoor spaces are, you know, taken care of and that we have them for a very long time. So I think that's it for me.
Great, Rachel. So if you have questions for Rachel, you all can send them in through the chat feature or wait to get to our Q&A time here in just a few minutes. With that being said, next on the agenda is Scott Gilgee. Scott is the manager at the Neil Smith National Wildlife Refuge, right near Prairie City, just east of Des Moines. Scott will give you a few minutes to talk about the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and the Neil Smith Refuge.
All right, thanks, Jamie. Again, my name is Scott Gilge. I'm the refuge manager at Neil Smith National Life Refuge. We're one of 5 refuges in Iowa and across the country and all the way out past Guam and places like that. There's 575 refuges across this great country. One of the big things about wildlife refuges, we're here for the public. So a little bit about Neil Smith. Like Jamie said, the refuge is 20 miles east of Des Moines on Highway 163. We're a fairly small refuge comparative to some of the ones in Alaska. We're 6,000 acres currently. Our acquisition boundary can go up to 12,000 acres, and we purchase land through willing sellers. So the history of Neil Smith it started in 1990. Actually, the ground was slated to be a nuclear power plant, but that fell through for various reasons. And Congressman Neil Smith at the time got some money through Congress allocations to purchase the first 3,000 acres of the refuge in the early 90s. So we've been building upon the refuge ever since. The thing about Neil Smith Wildlife Refuge, we were designed for the restoration and reconstruction of tallgrass prairie. Tallgrass prairie was once covered up, 90% of Iowa. Today, there's 1/10 of 1%, the best estimates out there of tallgrass prairie remaining. And the 6,000 acres at Neil Smith is a large chunk of that 1/10 of 1%. So that's pretty much what we do every day. We go out there and manage the landscape for the reconstruction of tallgrass prairie. We do have a greenhouse program where we'll plant native seeds that we harvest on the refuge and put them back in the ground to just further the betterment of the area. So one of the things that we do is we rely heavily on volunteers. Last year we had volunteers donated some 4,000 hours to the refuge, something like that. So we rely a lot on volunteers. So once this COVID madness ends, we're going to be looking for a lot of people to come out to the refuge to help us, go out there, pick plant species or plant them back in the ground, things like that. So if you're looking for something to do on a nice day, give us a call and we can always plug you in somewhere to give us some extra hands on the refuge. So if you got any questions, just throw them in the chat box and I'll be glad to answer them. Hopefully we'll see you guys out there when we reopen the visitor center, whenever that might be.
Sounds good, Scott. Thank you. If you've always wondered what Iowa looked like pre-settlement, go back to Laura Ingalls crossing parts of Iowa in the wagon, right? Neil Smith is probably one of those places where if you stand in the right spot, at any good moment, you'll have a 360-degree view of nothing but tall grass. And, it's a neat thing to see and behold. So if you haven't had a chance to get out there and spend some time, please do so. It's well worth the drive from wherever you are. That being said, our next guest and our tech expert for the evening is Megan Weiskup. Megan is the Hunter Education Administrator and R3 Coordinator for the Department of Natural Resources. She makes the world go round for a lot of people, including myself. So Megan, you want to take a few minutes and talk a little bit about your role?
Sure. Thank you, Jamie. Like you said, I'm the Hunter Education Administrator for the Department of Natural Resources, and I also work closely with our shooting sports section and help lead our R3, our recruitment, retention, reactivation efforts in the state, and happy to join you tonight. Definitely going to cover primarily just programs that focus or are related to hunting tonight, because that's our topic, but definitely if you have any questions about other areas of our agency, such as our parks or fisheries, wildlife, definitely don't hesitate to drop those questions in the chat, and Matt and I will do our best to get those answered or get you a contact who will be able to help you out with that. So the first thing I'd like to talk about is just our Iowa Hunter Education Program. Like Jamie mentioned earlier, we will be sending out a resource email, so I'll make sure all those links are included in that. So don't worry about trying to jot them down tonight. You'll get those in your inbox. But in order to hunt in Iowa, for most folks anyway, those that are born after January 1, 1972, are required to complete hunter education. So currently we offer it 4 different ways in the state. So we have our classroom-based course, which is 100% in person. Typically, this is taken by our 12 to 15-year-olds, but we definitely do have adults going through the classroom-based course as well. We definitely encourage parents to go through the course, even if you've completed it before or if you don't need it. It's always helpful to go through it. It's a great refresher, and it's something that you can enjoy with your family as they go through it. The other option we have is our Hunter Education Online Plus Field Day course. This course is designed for those kind of in that 12 to 17 range. Several kids that are busy in sports or extracurricular activities, this is a great option for them as they can take the bulk of the course online at their own pace from the comfort of their own home. Once they successfully complete the online portion, they get a field day voucher, and then they are able to register for an in-person field day course. And those usually consist of about 3 to 4 hours in length. You get to meet a local conservation officer, and they go over the laws and ethics, and then we have firearms handling exercises, which is a requirement for the state for those that are under the age of 18, and then take a final exam. So it allows the instructors to kind of cover some more of the fun stuff and really make it hands-on when the environment allows, which has been kind of an unfortunate thing these past few months. But usually most of our classes have live fire components, so this is the part that the folks come into the course really enjoy, because they get to get out there and experience shooting different types of firearms and even some of our archery equipment. A third option to complete Hunter Ed is we do have an online only course. This is designed for adults 18 years of age and older, where they can complete Hunter Education 100% online. This is an option that's been around since about 2013, and we see roughly around 4,000 folks go through it each year. Another option we have, our most recent option that came into play just a couple of years ago, and that's our dual online Hunter Education and Handgun Safety course. This one's for 21 and older, and it helps you kind of satisfy two things. So one, you get your Hunter Education certificate out of it, and then it also satisfies the education requirement to obtain your permit to carry. Now you still need to go work with your local sheriff's office and complete the applications and the rest of the process there, but it does meet the education requirement, and you'll have a certificate that you can pass on so that you can apply for and obtain your permit to carry. Learn to hunt. So on our website, we've dedicated a page to all things about learning how to hunt. So this online web resource has anything from one-pagers on different species that you can hunt that kind of breaks down some of the simple regulations, some of the biological information of the species, some basic hunting tactics, where you can typically find these critters, their habitat, are their habits, so and some basic safety rules that go along with hunting each of those species. We also have several video resources on there, and also several links to the organizations like are on the call tonight that are offering other programs so that you can continue to expand your knowledge and skills, and also mentoring opportunities. One of the newest things that I'm excited about that we just rolled out here a few weeks ago, and this was made in part with Safari Club International and a lot of our great NGO partners in the state, and that's our free advanced Hunter Education online video course. So it costs absolutely nothing. It's a 23-part video series, and it covers everything from how to purchase a license, how to utilize our online hunting atlas, how to hunt various species in the state, how to do duck calling, turkey calling, basic shooting range etiquette. So just a whole slew of things, and a few trapping things as well. So definitely want to encourage you guys to check out that resource as we're super excited, and we feel that it'll be a great tool in the toolbox as you continue to learn on your hunting journey. The apprentice hunting license. So for folks that haven't experienced hunting yet and may know someone that is hunting, this is a great option for folks 16 and older. It kind of lets you try out hunting before you make that commitment to complete Hunter Education and go through the rest of the requirements. So it does require you to hunt with another properly licensed adult mentor, and they have to be under you have to be under their direct supervision. But again, it's a great option if a friend or a coworker or a neighbor invites you to go out this upcoming weekend. It is a way that you can get out there if you don't have your hunter education course yet. Our Learn to Hunt workshops and webinars, Jamie briefly mentioned those at the beginning. They're very popular, and we couldn't do them without the great help of our partners like National Wild Turkey Federation, PF Whitetails, Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, for sure, in our Delta and Ducks Unlimited as well. They help us host a bunch of these across the state each year, and like Rachel mentioned, with COVID, we've had to take a different direction, and we've went online with these starting in August, and we've had some great success. And I've seen some names on this meeting tonight, or the Hunt Social tonight, that have participated in those webinars. So we hope you've enjoyed them, and I think it's something that we're definitely going to continue. Even when we are able to go back to in-person, just to give folks another option and help us be able to reach more folks across the state. And then last, a Field to Fork program. So it's one of our long-term mentoring programs that we have. Edible Outdoors has been a big help with that program when we were over in the Iowa City area, and we've worked with different community groups as we move it around the state. So this year we had a program in Ames, Iowa, and then also over in the Cedar Falls, Waterloo area. And it basically takes adults through several month process of learning how to become proficient with archery equipment, learning all the basic tactics to get involved in deer hunting. They're paired up with a mentor that they continue to have conversations with and work with and go scouting with pre-season. And then they have the opportunity to go out and hunt and have access to that mentor throughout the rest of the season. And a lot of these programs, we also are able to get them on some controlled hunting sites or into some of our state park hunts to kind of help take the ease or the fear out of taking that next step to get out there hunting and put them in a comfortable, safe environment. So definitely a program that I would check out if you're interested in learning a little bit more about deer archery hunting. Go Outdoors Iowa. So this is our licensing system. Just wanted to bring it up briefly tonight because when we switched over to this a couple years ago, it did bring some great benefits. One of those being auto renewal. So if you are a person that's looking to buy your hunting and fishing license on a regular basis, but like me, I get busy and forget when that expires, you can set up auto renewal so that it would automatically purchase the new license for you when it becomes available, which is an awesome benefit. It also has an app, and that's what I wanted to highlight tonight. So if you're using a smartphone, and whether you have an iPhone or an Android device, you can go to either the Play Store or the Apple Store, and you can download this app for free. It does allow you to bring over your licenses. You can use it to carry your general license when you're out there hunting. You can purchase license through the app as well. You can do your harvest reporting. It has some added benefits of having access to the sunrise sunset tables, links to the regulations. So it's just a great tool to have with you out in the field. And it makes things a little bit more simple in regards to getting your hunting and fishing licenses. Our online hunting atlas. So we overhauled this back in 2019. It is available on our website, and it does work in a mobile friendly environment. So it does highlight all the areas, not only that we own, but that our county partners, our national partners like the Refuges are listed on here. Then also our IHAP areas, or the Iowa Habitat and Access Program. So that's where the private landowners have entered into an agreement to provide access to public hunting on their properties. So it's a great tool as you get started, or if you're going to be looking to try a different species out or travel across the state. You can pull up those areas. You can see the boundaries. You can see what species is typically found in there, information on the acreage and the type of habitat that's on there. And it also allows you to download a PDF map of that specific area that you're looking at. So another great tool to help you find some places to go hunting. our interactive shooting range map. Super excited about this, not only because it's in my program, but we've been able to pull it over into Google. So we've been able to kind of get out of the antiquated, hard to use atlas that's out there and bring it over to Google, which is something that a lot of folks are familiar at using. So the nice thing about it, it highlights all of our ranges, plus we've also brought in the other private ranges out there and club-owned ranges. And so you can find pretty much every firearms and archery range in the state now on this tool. When you click on the icons, it'll pull up the address. It'll tell you what types of activities or ranges are available there. It'll let you know if there's a fee charged, if the club or the range has a email or a Facebook page or a web address. It allows us to drop it in there. And then you can't see on my screenshot, but it also provides a phone number if there's one available, and it also lets you know if it has a restroom facility. So an awesome tool that we just rolled out here within the last couple of weeks and are excited to get some feedback on. Becoming an Outdoors Woman program. Wanted to bring this up briefly because we have several females on the meeting today. It's a great way to start learning about the outdoors and to be able to explore anything from your camping, hiking, backpacking to a lot of cooking classes. So we have Dutch oven cooking, canning. You learn how to fillet fish. We have different fishing classes. We have different shooting sports classes, anywhere from just kind of basic firearm introductory classes to modern sporting firearms and shotgun shooting. And then we have a variety of hunting related classes as well, also accompanied by mentored hunts at our workshops. So our next annual in-person workshop, fingers crossed, will be coming up on April 29th through May 2nd. It'll be held at Wesley Woods Camp and Retreat in Indianola. We will be opening up registration on that website in mid-January, so be on the outlook for that. We also offer a variety of Beyond Bow workshops throughout the year. And the fun thing about the Beyond Bow is this kind of opens up the doors to get the family involved a lot of times, even the youth, the sons, daughters, husbands, everybody can join in on a lot of these topics that we do. It takes basically a workshop weekend can have 36 different classes on, and these Beyond Bows really try to focus on one or two topics, and they can vary from being a half day in length or to an entire weekend depending on the topic. We also post those as they become available on our website. Coming up here in December as well, and this class will be in the morning, so don't worry if you want to take the Edible Outdoors Deer Butchering. You can do breakfast over the fire in the morning with us, and then you can join Rachel and Backcountry Hunters and Anglers in the afternoon to learn about doing some butchering. So we've done a couple of these virtual food series, and kind of the uniqueness or the fun about it is we send out an ingredients list ahead of time and what equipment it's needed, and you can cook right along with the instructors. So we'll be doing just simple campfire in December. We'll move on to pie irons in January, and then Dutch ovens in February. And the last thing I wanted to leave you with before I turn it back over to Jamie is one of our newest partnerships, and this is partnering with Kansas and Nebraska, and it's called the Shigo's Outdoors program. This has been a way that we've been able to continue to reach out to the female folks that are engaged in the outdoors when we couldn't do our in-person workshops this past spring and summer. We've developed a website that's full of online resources for all 3 states. We do have social media channels such as Facebook and Instagram that go along with it. We do a weekly podcast that features a variety of topics that coincides with the season that we're in. Subscription boxes. So these definitely have become popular for a variety of things, whether it's Beer of the Month Club, Wine of the Month Club, Shave Club. We jumped on the bandwagon too and created outdoor skills boxes that we release every few months. So our first one was a pheasant hunting box. And in that pheasant hunting box, you got a blaze orange hat, you got a gun cleaning kit, you got game shears, you got a pocket knife, you got a bunch of recipes and other resources. We're currently doing a birding box that we're getting ready to release next week out to the subscribers that purchased it, and that's going to contain Vortex binoculars and a bunch of stuff from the Audubon Society and Wild Bird Store and a whole bunch. So these boxes are $50, but almost all of them bring value of close to $200 when it's all said and done. We pair the subscription boxes up with a webinar similar to this, where you can talk to folks that represent the businesses or our partner groups that help put the box together, and then also be able to answer questions about doing that particular topic and how to use the equipment that you received. So I know a lot of information thrown at you, but again, all this will be recapped in the email that we'll send out. Definitely keep asking questions in the chat, and once I switch roles over, I'll be able to take a look at some of those if they came in, and we'll also be making a copy of the recording of this meeting tonight as well as part of the resource email next week. So hopefully we'll see you at one of these future programs.
Thanks, Megan. Last but not least is the Iowa Wildlife Federation. Joe and Sue Wilkinson, they will take it from here and tell us a little bit about their organizations and some of the projects they're involved with.
Okay, there I can talk now. Thanks, Jamie. Yeah, I'm Joe Wilkinson. I've been with the Iowa Wildlife Federation for about 30 years or so. Gone from being kind of a small organization to we really have some big things coming with it now, and I'll leave those for the future. That's not to talk about tonight. But just a moment or two about us, we are the Iowa affiliate of the National Wildlife Federation. And we, the Iowa Federation, has been involved with a lot of things, very much pro hunting, fishing, but we also have been involved with a lot of non-traditional wildlife projects. We, getting on to about 20, 25 years ago, 15 years ago now, we were one of the groups that helped the DNR reintroduce trumpeter swans across Iowa, river otters, as well as peregrine falcons and the restoration program. So with a non-traditional, non-game species as well. But I'm here to talk about primarily tonight a couple programs that one has been around for about almost 20 years and the other is brand new this year. The Iowa Hush program, which is Help Us Stop Hunger, is again coordinated by the DNR. And it involves hunters dropping off a field dressed deer to a locker. And the locker then designating it for the Hush program, the locker will butcher that and will provide it to food banks across the state of Iowa. That again, hunters pay for that. You pay when you buy your deer tag, you're paying $1 for the Hush program, but it's it's well spent. It's we had like 3,750 deer were donated last year in the hunting season, providing about 630,000 meals. So Iowa's less fortunate. So it gets out to a lot of people. The Hush program is alive and well this year. And we urge you to go to the DNR website. You can, from there, you can click on deer hunting, on deer hunting, and then scroll down to the Hush program and it'll tell you more about it. Brand new this year is something that the Iowa Wildlife Federation is really promoting. We've done a Facebook Live event. We're trying to get more visibility into some of the places that sell hunting licenses, things like that, is the Iowa Deer Exchange. And in that, you just, if I take a deer, you can sign up to donate that deer. And on the other side of the Iowa Deer Exchange, there are recipients who can sign up to receive a deer or a part of a deer, 10 pounds, 25 pounds. I want some jerky, something like that. And the two of you will try to reach an agreement. Okay, here, I can get it for you. We've had about one thing, it's a little short on donors. It's a little high on potential recipients right now. So that's maybe the only downside, not too many donors. So as you or any of you go in to pick up a deer license in the next couple of weeks, feel free to also purchase an antlerless tag, maybe to donate a second deer as well. The hunters will receive from the Iowa DNR next week an email asking them to pick up that extra antlerless tag. The Iowa Deer Exchange, I signed up as a donor about 3 weeks ago, and within about a week, I had someone saying, "Hey, I'll take a whole field dressed deer," and name is Alex. I don't know if it's he or she, but Alex has said they are from Mount Vernon. I'm from Solon, so it's only 10 miles away. So we've got a real easy route for me to get a deer to them. The only catch is I have to get a deer for Alex yet, and I have not done that, but hopefully want to be coming up in the next week or two. And that's kind of, it's as easy as it works. You go online, you can see who is a donor, and you can find someone like Alex did. Hey, they're 10 miles away. I don't have to drive across state for something like that. So it's the first year program is going real well. And that's, as I said, the Hush program going as well. One thing I wanted to say about the Hush program, lockers participating have dropped off significantly, especially in the last couple of years, from about 80 to about 40 this year. My locker in Solon is still on, but they note that the $75 they receive from the DNR through your the extra dollar you pay in your tags really doesn't cover the cost of processing deer anymore. So maybe look for some changes in that in the coming years. And that's, again, that's one reason that the DNR and hunters have the Iowa Deer Exchange this year. So that's the gist of my comments tonight. Again, Iowa Wildlife Federation, if you want to try to learn more about us, we are at iawildlife.org. Visible with, I said, some of the non-game species, but also very much a pro-hunting, pro-fishing advocacy group. Actually, we're moving on to now with some new directors on board. We have some big involvement and some work with advocating filter strip development across the state, filter strip development and the obvious wildlife benefits that have as well. So a lot of things happening with us, but I'll stop it there for now.
All right. Thanks, Joe. That was great. I actually learned something. I was not familiar with the exchange program. My wife came home with a quarter beef a few weeks ago. We couldn't put a deer in our freezer if we tried. So that's good incentive for me to get back out there and connect with somebody that may want it. So thanks for bringing that up. That was neat. Okay, so we are about 7:20, I believe, is the time. We are at our first door prize stop along the journey. So I've kind of been watching the chat, been watching some of the questions come in. And I think first we're going to have Tim from Whitetails. If you want to describe real quickly the door prize you have, we'll do a drawing for yours.
What I have to offer is one of our knives that we had specially made this year for an incentive knife for our members that attend and get in on some of our larger raffle packages. So I've got one of those that I'd like to ship out for the first drawing. I'll just have, like I say, if you want to capture a name and an address for me, would be great.
Yep, nope, that sounds good. I've got Rob written down. Rob's name got pulled here just real quick. He was right in at the beginning, I believe, seeing his name. And Rob will connect. We've got your information from your registration, and I'll get that to Tim, and you'll be getting a knife in the mail here in maybe a couple of weeks or so. So congratulations, Rob. Next, we have a couple of things from the Iowa DNR. I've got a pocket knife here that'll go out in the mail to the next person drawn, and then along with that, a book called Why Hunt. If you haven't had a chance to read this book, it's a great little read put out by the Aldo Leopold Foundation, and it comes with a bookmark, Iowa-specific bookmark that talks about new things that you can do to get started in hunting, some reading, some articles, some websites that you can check out. So for that, we're going to go with Ruth. Ruth, your name was selected for that one as well. So congratulations, Ruth. We'll pull your information from our registration system and try to get that out in the mail later this week or first thing next week. So congratulations to Rob and Ruth. So now we're going to go into the Q&A time. We know we've been throwing a lot of information at you. We're grateful for our partners that are on here tonight with us to talk this through, but now we want to hear from you. So we're going to just open this up. If you've got questions, you can call out somebody and ask a question live. You don't have to submit it through the chat feature anymore. So you can just say, Sue, Joe, I've got a question about this, or Scott, you know, I want to know how the pheasants are doing at Neil Smith. Whatever your question is, just go ahead and share it. Or, you know, if we get real quiet, we can start swapping stories. And I know how that can go. So we'll just open the floor now.
Well, this is Ruth, and yay, I won a knife. That's awesome. I'm so stoked about that. And I actually already have a copy of that book, but I'm so excited to get another copy because I gave it away. I had a question for Joe Wilkinson. I don't know, I can't see his face on my screen anymore, but I'm assuming he's still there. But do y'all
Here.
ever work with growers or farmers who want to establish habitat?
All right. First of all, can you hear me, Ruth?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. All right. We do some, but one thing, actually, we had a committee meeting today to talk about a grant that the IWF has just been given, and it involves working with filter strips, expanding filter strips and incorporating them on farms, and the environmental benefits, the wildlife benefits they provide. It's brand new, but we have one of our new board members. We've had about half a dozen or more new board members come on board in the last 6 or 8 months, and one of them is very active and with filter strip programs on Iowa farmland, and she has been involved with it for several years. She's been on our board for 6 months, so yes, we are working with that now and with some other programs, but that's probably the primary one that jumps to mind right now, just because we just heard about it today.
Okay, that's
I would say
awesome.
get in touch with me, and I can give you more information, but yeah, it's.
You go to our website, iawildlife.org. There's a contact.
Ruth, your mic was a little short there.
And, just send an email will come through to us from that contact.
Okay, yeah, I'll check it out. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You bet.
Ruth, also, depending on where you are, we have a team of wildlife biologists that work with farmers and growers every day to talk about programs such as CRP and taking some of the acres that they've had out of production, or if you're just have some recreational land, you're certainly welcome to reach out to me as well. So happy to be of
Yeah,
help.
I will actually. I work as a conservation agronomist, so I have a lot of growers that are starting to feel that area out. So
Yeah,
I will definitely shoot you an email.
Yeah, what county are you in, Ruth?
I work in Eastern Iowa. I live in Marshall County, but I work in anything east of 35.
Gotcha. Yeah, fantastic. Yep. We got some folks over there, and then we have a precision ag specialist who covers the state. I'd be happy to put him in touch with you. He's eager to talk to any agronomist about what he can do, because he can get in and talk inputs and outputs with landowners and get down to their yield and their bottom line, and then cater a program that would take care of those grid acres.
Yeah, please do. I would really appreciate that connection, but I'll Google stalk you. I'm sure that's possible, right?
So, yeah,
send you an email.
Good. I'll send you a message here through chat with my email address. All right. Any other questions?
Hey, Jamie, do you mind if I do the NWTF thing?
Oh my gosh, Matt! How did I forget you? I totally forgot you. I am so sorry. I circled you off before you had a chance to go.
No worries.
I am so embarrassed. My face is red right now. So one of our very last, but not least at all, is Matt Smith. Matt is with the National Wild Turkey Federation. He is a humble man, obviously. Matt, thanks for joining us tonight. I'll certainly let you take a few minutes to talk about the Turkey Federation.
Well, we are very much like the other organizations. We're all about habitat enhancement and purchasing public lands for hunting and use for sportsmen. The big focus right now for us has been R3, or getting people hunting. We have a year-long program that we do. Starts in January. We meet once a month. We're the National Wild Turkey Federation, but all of us are passionate about lots and lots of different kind of hunting. We do a spring turkey hunt, but then we also cover fishing and other outdoor activities through the summer. And then we do a dove hunt in September, pheasant hunt in October, and then waterfowl hunt in November. And then we have a graduation actually in the end of November. We usually have our mentors hook up with the people in the program, and most of them do deer hunt then in December. So if anybody's interested in participating, we'd love to have you. It's a pretty small, intimate group. We usually have 10 to 12 participants each year. We hook you up with a specific mentor for each of the different species. You have a whole group of people. It's a pretty neat social environment. People come back every year. We've got the first year they come back, they're kind of coaches, but by the second or third year, then they're mentors and helping, you know, they're probably people that weren't hunting 3 years ago, and now they're helping new people discover all these awesome things we have here in Iowa to do. So we're just now putting the schedule together for next year. We're going to see what COVID does. You may have to do it virtually, but we typically meet at the Longhouse. Polk County Conservation is our primary partner on this. They help with gun safety, and we've got a trap range out Chautauqua Bottoms and do a lot of shooting, a lot of time with firearms, and a lot of different species. And it ends up just being a really cool network. And by the end of the year, everybody's good friends and we're all hunting together. So.
Thanks, Matt. I know several of your folks in that program have been in some of our other programs, and they continue to pick up new skills and new techniques, and it's really fun to watch them grow. So yeah, great program. And is there an age restriction to that program, Matt? It's for adults,
Well,
right?
It's targeted for 18 to 45. You know, all the research is that there's this missing couple of generations who we're trying to engage and bring into hunting that kind of got missed out. But we've had people, we've got one guy's his late 60s who actually came with his son. It was awesome. And we've had some people bring their teenage kids in. So we're targeting that 18 to 45. We'll take just about anybody. You know, we just love to have, we love this wonderful outdoors we have in Iowa and want to share it. Anything we can do to help bring people
Sounds
on board,
good.
we're all about that. The cool thing, like I say, that the exciting thing for me is you have someone that comes in who has never touched a firearm and are literally shaking the first time you put a shotgun in their hands. And by midsummer, you know, they're not that they're not being safe, but I mean, they're just very comfortable, you know, loading their weapons and nailing the clay targets, you know, out there at Chautauqua and getting them ready so that we actually do start chasing doves and pheasant and waterfowl. They're very successful.
Yeah, absolutely. So Matt, you got a question here. Scott's got a question here. I'll go ahead and put the two of you on the spot. Scott, you first. Just had a question come in. Can a hunter just walk on to Neil Smith and start hunting, or is there an application process?
So for hunting on Neil Smith, it is totally free. We follow state regs for most species that we allowed to hunt. So you can download our hunt brochure off our internet or off our website. Or if you just come out to the refuge, any of our parking lots will have a little brochure box in them. They're this orange 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. It just has all the rules and regs on there, the dates, you know, that we're allowed for hunting. And all you got to do is read it, sign it, keep it with you. That is your permit to hunt on the refuge. It's pretty simple. And Megan, if you can throw our website on there, that'd be great, because I'm technically challenged.
I'll get it for you, Scott.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then Matt, your question was, I saw it right here. Somebody noticed the muskie on the wall and they wanted to know when the muskie hunt was.
That's from many, many years ago in northern Minnesota.
All right. Looks like there was another one here. I don't know if another question about Southwest Iowa. How do we get Southwest Iowa more involved? I would love to get more information on programs around here. Anybody have anything going on in Southwest Iowa that we could relate to that or follow up with? I know I've got a little project over there I've been working on, just trying to work with tourism officials and work with farmers and landowners and work with our work with DNR's Habitat and Access program, and just trying to get more acres available to hunt over there in Southwest Iowa, and then working with the tourism people to promote and advertise that. That's one of the big projects that I'm working on always, it feels like, but nothing specific is coming to my mind. Anybody else chime in there with information or know of any connections over there?
Just to jump in quick, and I'll drop some information in the chat as well, but our conservation officer, Marlo Wilson, that's over there in the very southwest corner of the state, he does a couple of different outreach events throughout the year, one being a waterfowl hunt, so that's a big waterfowl hunting area. So he has worked with both adults and youth to have a waterfowl weekend and then our waterfowl day, and then they help pair folks up with mentors that are interested in getting involved in waterfowl hunting. I'm also down there at I believe it's Wabanzi. We've acquired some more property down there in the parks there, and they're working to make some improvements to some of the structures on there. And one of those may soon hopefully be maybe an indoor archery range and a couple other things. So there are some things going on down in that neck of the woods. And then also the Southwest Iowa Sportsman's Club, I believe is still active in some of our shooting sports programs and does other stuff in the community down in that corner. And then definitely stuff is starting to pop up kind of as you get a little bit further north in the Pottawatomie County area and Harrison County area, just north of that.
Sounds good, Megan. Sounds good. All right. Let's see here. Looks like we've got a couple of other questions that come in for that came in for Matt. Let's see here. Would enrolling the NWTF Hunter Mentor Program be suitable for someone who travels for work? In other words, is there a chance to make up teaching events if needed with your assigned mentor?
Yes, we usually we haven't got next year's dates finalized yet, but we're wrapping those up in December. So when you sign up for the program, you'll know each of the dates for every month. So if possible, you can, kind of plan around it. But if someone does end up gone, yeah, we've got a large number of people over the years that have been mentors. If it's specifically for hunt, like, usually turkey hunting, we have a specific date, but usually you'll hook up with somebody and you end up spending several days at least, in the field chasing turkeys around. We can definitely work with your schedule on that. And if you miss a class, and we've got, all the literature and stuff we hand out, but obviously we love hunting. We love talking about it. We can definitely fill somebody in if they miss some time.
Sounds good. Sounds good. One other question for Scott came in here. Tell us about shed hunting on the Refuge, Scott. Any rules, regulations with shed hunting?
Yeah, I already responded to that person. So we do not allow shed hunting on the Refuge. Reason being, we are a national wildlife refuge. So any of the sheds that hit the ground, we keep them there just for the rodents, for something to nibble on during the winter months. Just as part of a natural environment. We try to keep it as natural as we can.
Sounds good. All right, Matt, we'll get this up, but I think Eli had asked for the information on the Hunter Mentor Program, just to make sure that's available. Eli will make sure that gets in the follow-up email that goes out next week. All right, questions live. Anybody just want to hop in and say a few things? Because we'll take another door prize drawing here in just a couple of minutes. So anybody got anything they want to ask?
I had a question. I put it on the chat. Can everybody hear me? Yeah. Okay. Yep. Just want to make sure. Is there any programs? I know that I just want to say I had an amazing time with Field of Fork. That was very memorable for me, and I haven't gotten out yet to hunt, and I'm pretty sad about that. But it's just with the. Is there any programs that the DNR has with, like, maybe a rental of guns or something? I still haven't found a fit for me, and I would like to see how it feels to hunt with a gun. I know if you purchase a gun and it's really not, I just don't know if there's any programs like that for like a gun rental, or to see how a gun fits or something. I don't know. I'm very new, so bear with me.
For try it before you buy it. Right?
Yeah, kind of thing.
No, I'm not aware of anything other than sometimes if you go into the gun shop, retail store, they'll allow you to shoulder it. I'm not aware of any programs that do that. Now that could be a good thing for some of us to start to partner together and do, and just, host an open day at the range and have a lot of different size guns there for people to try.
Or like
just to
rent
get
a
them
gun or
comfortable.
something.
Our year-long program, we actually do have a rental. You can rent an 870 for that, throughout that program. Also, usually at the range, all of us mentors, most of us who have a lot of firearms like to get them out and play with them and show them off. So any typical day at the range, there's going to be half a dozen different, over and under, semi-automatics, pump shotguns, lots of different firearms for you to, like say, just get a feel for. So before you purchase something, you can find what you really like. It's interesting, most people end up with an 870. Remington is what the program gun is, which, like I say, you can either rent it or purchase it. But most people, by the time they get to the end of the program, they're a lot of the folks have bought 2 or 3 guns by the time, the first year's up. Not that you have to, but it's kind of intoxicating and addictive. It's like
I definitely understand. Yeah, because with the trap shooting, just with several programs, Iowa County Pheasants Forever. We did some trap shooting, and I really liked the guns, but I was just like, okay, just trying to figure out what is best. I know you have describing a gun, I wouldn't know what to say, but yeah, I was just wondering if there was a rental or something, but it's good to know that you guys have that.
Well, we have a guest date usually, and it's usually in April or May, where if you're not actually in the program, you can come and just come to the shooting range for that Saturday afternoon or morning, and like I said, there'd be a lot of different firearms there, and you can try any one you wanted. So,
Maria,
go ahead.
I'll say, hey, this is Scott. I'm not sure. I think you're over the Iowa City area, but I know a couple of the gun stores here in Des Moines area, you can actually go in and basically test drive the guns to kind of see a good fit for you. And they got their pro staff there that kind of help with pick guns that might suit you. So they might have something like that over in Iowa City, where some of the bigger gun stores have a range where you can go in and test fire some of the guns and get some expert advice.
I'm just going to chime in. Oh, sorry. This is Ruth. I'm just going to chime in, Maria. That's how I learned. Was I called some of the larger gun stores. I mean, like a lot of them, like Central Iowa Impact has a range. There are other, Scott's totally right. Just call around. I guarantee you, if you call around some of the larger, like the larger gun shops, they will direct you to a range where there's somebody that you can rent a shotgun from or something. That's how I got into it. That's how I learned. And that's how I found the gun that I liked for hunting. So
how many guns do you have? I said, so how many guns do you have now?
I only have a few, but that's because I did call around, and let me tell you, they trip over. It's a very friendly community. People want to help you find the right gun. So I was able to try a lot before I found the shotgun that I wanted and the handgun that I wanted. So if you call around to some of those larger gun stores, if they can't help you out, they'll tell you who you can go to learn more from.
All right. Thank you so much.
And to jump in and add just a few more resources for you, Maria, our 2 man shooting ranges that we have in the Des Moines area, Olafson and Banner, we do have a lot of our education firearms there on site that you can come out and try out. We participate in the National Shooting Sports Foundation's First Shots program. So on a typical year, we would be hosting a couple of different events throughout the year where you can come out and try a whole variety of firearms. Then also through our Becoming an Outdoors Woman program, we have basically a 4-part series. So you could do the intro to firearms, you could do the modern sporting firearms, you could do the shotguns, and then you learn how to do the gun cleaning and care as part of that workshop and get to try out a variety of guns. I know someone also threw out in the chat asking about if we have a way to pair folks up with a mentor, and that's definitely something. If you're interested, reach out to Jamie and I offline, and we definitely have some folks over in your area that we could get you out with. And when you're with one of the mentors that have either went through our training program or one of our hunter ed instructors, then that also affords access to some of our firearms and equipment that you could borrow to go out for some mentored hunt experiences.
Are you Dave?
All right, let's take a minute to do another door prize drawing. Joe and Sue, do you all want to take a minute to describe the prize you're going to be mailing some lucky someone here?
Yeah, now that I can talk, sure. We've got a couple belt buckles we could give away as well. And I think each belt buckle will come with a cloth carry bag that has nothing to do with the belt buckle, but it's a couple of the things we have available. These belt buckles are pewter. They are part of a 25-year run that the Iowa Wildlife Federation had for collector belt buckles. Think of the rodeo belt buckles. These are similar, a little smaller, a little more casual, but they're different wildlife species, a different native Iowa wildlife species each year. We have since discontinued it, but we held on to a few belt buckles for just this, for giving away and for having available for one. We've got.
They're all designed by Iowa wildlife artists.
Yeah, that's right. Wow.
So if you can put us on screen, I've got a couple to show.
Are we on screen?
I don't know.
I believe so. Yep, you're front and
okay.
center.
Okay, we don't see that we are, but yeah, there they are if you can see them.
One is obviously is that it?
Yeah.
A white-tailed deer. That was done by Rick Morkel. I think he was from Waterloo. The other is a red fox, which is done by Larry Zach of Ankeny, who's one of probably the premier wildlife artist in Iowa history, actually. Larry's done about 3 or 4 of our belt buckles, including the final, the segue away from the belt buckle series a few years ago. But this is the red fox. The other is the white-tailed deer.
We do have others as well. So
We have a couple elk left. What happens if these are, so we had them subscription. We had several hundred people buying them every year, and there were always some left over. So these are just some of the leftovers that we would maybe take to outdoor shows and sell that way. Everything from let's see, we have elk. The elk is just beautiful. Largemouth bass, muskellunge, yeah. If it's native Iowa wildlife species, we had 25 of them over a period of that many years. So there'll maybe about 7, 8, 9 different species left.
Great.
So we can either get them one of these 2, or if they want to call and ask and say, yeah, I'd rather have that mallard or I'd rather have that elk, we can get that to them.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay, so for those 2 belt buckles, we have the D&M. D&M. I don't know what that stands for, but D&M, can you tell us a first name that you would have registered under, either through chat, so we make sure we get it to the right place? And then for the other belt buckle, Jim Green. Jim Green. And Joe and Sue, I'll get all this information to you all sometime tomorrow, so you all can get to the post office and get this out.
Okay, and again, each of those comes with the carry bag as well. That has nothing to do with the belt buckle, just one more thing to send along.
There you go. Cool. All right. One more drawing before we get back to a few more questions as we wrap up. We have let's see here, another knife from Whitetails Unlimited. Just as Tim had described earlier, the winner of that knife will be Eli Weber. Eli, you got a knife coming to you from Whitetails. Congratulations. All right, with that said, let's turn it over for a few more questions as they're rolling in here, and just jump in and share them. We'll go till right up about 8 o'clock, I guess. We're about 10 minutes out. We've still got some time to answer some questions.
So my question is a little more open-ended. I have a mentor for pheasant. Don't have one for deer, but I'm drawn to pheasant because I want to hunt with a dog. My boy, you might hear him in the background, is not a hunting dog. It would be absolutely comical if I tried to take him out. We have a deposit on a puppy from breeder that was recommended to us and so forth, but by the time that dog's ready, I'm going to miss this season. And so I'm just not seeing a way for me to get out in this season, even if I get my hunting course done and all that sort of stuff. And I don't know, maybe I just have to be patient that this is a process to get into or whatnot. But I didn't know. And then also, I guess the other way it's open-ended is just my own concerns of, I'm learning, the dog's learning. Am I going to ruin the dog because I don't know what I'm doing? That sort of stuff.
No, those are great questions, Bruce. Depending on where you are in the state, what would be great is if we could get you plugged in with some of our chapter members. There's nothing like getting out and watching someone be with their dog and hunt with their dog. And I know you alluded to I guess your hunting class or your training class or whatnot. But, a lot of times these guys and gals will just be happy to take somebody along and let them watch the dog do its work. I'm going to be going through the same process here probably in the spring with a pup of our own. And a lot of people do things differently. And so I would suggest just the more you can find some folks to connect with that are already part of that community, they're always willing to share their tips and their tricks with you. They're very passionate people, and they're willing to help you out and answer phone calls at certain times of the day, but they're willing to help out and do most anything you can. So my advice would be connect with somebody that's got a dog or a similar dog that you want to have, and just hook up and learn from them, because it is something to behold, that relationship between a dog and
Yeah, I mean, the guy I have, he was a former colleague and he's getting older, and I don't, he doesn't want to go out when it's too cold, things like that. So
yeah,
if I could find someone else to take the pressure off of him, that would be useful.
yeah.
But he
Bruce?
did take me out. He took me. I live in Iowa City, and so we just have that's the state refuge just to the west of us near Amana. He took me out with one of his young dogs just to watch the dog flush. It was before the season started. And so I saw a little bit of that, but I'm just worried that, the dog needs something too, right? Especially if I get a puppy, right? So I'm kind of concerned that, I'll mess up the dog, right? I guess that was kind of my big concern. And then I have a bad hunting dog for the next 14 years, right?
Yeah. No, I think you're wise getting out in front of it. There's a book I've had recommended to me in my puppy journey that I'll be starting, and it's a book called Pheasant Dogs. I think it's put out by either Purina, and I think you can find it on our PF webpage, but it's called Pheasant Dogs. And I think it's a pretty decent book in terms of training and kind of give you a heads up on what to expect. I just immerse yourself in finding any information you can online, and I'm sure there's plenty of information on our website too about training. So, yep, good thinking.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, anything else?
Hey, Jamie, I've got some Milwaukee lock blade knife that NWDF can donate. I don't know if you want to draw and get rid of it.
Yep, we'll put that in the next one here. We got a couple of other things we'll give out right here at the end. I'll put that in there, Matt. Thanks. All right, any other questions? Comments? How many of you all are doing something else right now than listening to me? All right. So Megan's going to throw some polls out here. Feel free to take a few minutes to answer some of these. I'm guessing some of them are going to be pretty fun. But we'll do another drawing here in a second. Any other questions or anything y'all want to share?
This is Sue. Excuse me. This is Sue. I'll just throw out there. Joe and I were down at Neil Smith 2 weekends ago. I have not seen that many pheasants since I was a child. It was so cool. Just so cool to see them all.
But even more impressive was we saw more bison on the other side of the road.
You know, our grandkids, I think, were more excited seeing the pheasants than the bison, because the bison were expected.
Yeah, we had a tremendous hatch this year, the last 2 years for pheasants at Neil Smith. So we have a plethora of birds. So if anybody wants to come down and do some pheasant hunting, like I said, just pick up one of those brochures at one of the hunter parking lots or get it offline. Come on down. And while you're there, you can go see the bison and elk.
Two
maybe tell us where
turkeys,
the elk are.
Jamie.
The bison were easy to see. The elk were non-existent this time. Last time we went down, we did see one.
Yeah, I saw the turkey hunters. Who's planning to try to get after a turkey this fall? This is cool to watch coming in. I struggle with turkey hunting. I think I am better at painting fences than I'll ever be at turkey hunting. And I'm not familiar. The preface is that I'm not familiar with the fall seasons here. Is there a fall shotgun season at all in Iowa, or is it strictly archery?
Nope, we have a fall shotgun season as well.
Yeah. Oh, and I think it's rifle now, so you can do straight walled rifle, if my understanding is correct.
I think
Wait, did you say deer? I'm sorry. Wait.
Oh yeah, just for turkey, we're still dealing just with shotgun and archery in the fall.
Oh,
For,
okay.
deer,
Sorry.
straight wall cartridge rifles. Yep.
Yeah, I'd said turkey, Bruce. That may better my odds though if we did a straight walled rifle season for turkey. All right. Any other comments? We'll do our last door prize drawing here in just a second. Megan, how many more polls do we have?
Last one.
Oh, great. Okay. Okay, so last, go ahead.
I had a quick question. So I've never hunted or been around any type of hunting before. So I'm wondering what someone would recommend for an absolute very beginner.
I'm going to yield the floor to someone else. I want to see what someone else has to say.
You know, our year-long program, we have about, I don't know, 2/3 of the participants have never hunted. Half of our participants each year are women. We have women mentors. So if that was a comfort level thing that you'd want to, hunt with another woman, we've got lots of options there. And it's real laid back. We've had people have taken the class that ended up not hunting. They didn't really want to, they thought they might want to and got involved and decided not to. And there's no pressure at all. We just want people to get out and enjoy the outdoors. My favorite thing about turkey and deer hunting is just get out and watch the world wake up. So, I mean, it's like I say, it's not about the harvest is awesome, but like, that's not the main thing. The main thing is just get out and connect with nature.
Thank you.
I'd like to add something, and I was in your shoes last year, and thanks to a friend of mine who she actually sponsored me, but the Field to Fork program is an amazing program. It was a 10-week program, and I had picked up a bow once and I just fell in love with it. Sometimes I still, I like shooting guns, but I still haven't found my fit. But that was an amazing program and I learned so much. And like you said, handling a firearm is kind of scary to some people. I mean, especially if you've never held a gun before, but the bow, I just loved it. And I had a really great experience. So Field to Fork too, again, I think Jamie has more information on that as far as how many or when it starts and stuff.
Yeah, I was actually scratching my head today going, it's time to start planning 2021's Field to Fork already. So we're excited about it. We still have some hunters out this season. We've had to really change this year because of COVID. In the past we've done, single weekend events, and then hopefully you all had a chance to get out past that. But because of that group gathering restriction, we tried our best to keep the number size small, and everybody's actually hunting on their own this year. We gave them tree stands and gave them some locations, and we've actually had our 6th hunter took one, I believe, day before yesterday. So we have 6 hunters who harvested 7 deer already, and that's out of 16 hunters. So we're pretty excited about that. But it is a fun program. It's great for archery. I know there's a lot of hesitancy with guns. As a matter of fact, one of the participants this year said that was the reason she wanted to try archery first, is because she could get used to the killing without the intimidation that a gun often can bring. So I think we'll be planning that event here before too long and start preliminary deciding on where that program is going to go back to and what we're going to do. But one thing's for sure, it's our promise to continue to grow that program and keep getting out to different parts of Iowa. So absolutely. Okay. Final drawing here. Okay, we've got several names that have been drawn. Cedric, you are the winner of the NWTF knife. Cedric will be looking your information up for your registration, and we'll get that knife out to you in the mail early next week. That's the one that Matt had shown there on the screen from the NWTF. Susanna and Drew Jaden, Drew/Jaden and Susanna. You all will be winning a hat, a Hunt Iowa Blaze Orange hat and knife combo, compliments of the Iowa DNR. So the two of you all will be getting a hat, knife combo sent to you in the mail. And I think we have, we making sure here, we got the 2 knives from the Whitetails. Did we give out the second? Yep, we gave out the second belt buckle already. Let's see here.
Hey, we have a gift card to Shields and a gift card to Bass Pro that you can still raffle off.
Whew, all right. I've got 2 names here. I knew I had 2 more things to give away, so because I had 2 names here already. The Bass Pro card is going to go to Mark W. Mark, you're the winner of the Bass Pro card. And the winner of the Shields card is going to be Deanna, Deanna. You're the winner of the Shields card. All right. Fantastic. I think that wraps up our door prizes here for the evening. Any final comments from the organizations or from Megan or anyone from anybody tuning in?
If I can jump in here real quick, just as a reminder that we'll be sending out a resource email that will contain all the information about the organizations and presenters that were on the call tonight and how you can engage their organization or agency. It also will include a link to the recording, so you can see all your own smiling faces and kind of review some of the information that we talked about tonight as a resource. And then part of that email will also be a post survey. Like Jamie mentioned at the beginning, this is our first attempt at kind of trying one of these virtual socials. So we definitely want to hear back from you. I know that Sue and Joe and all of us that have done these before are hoping that we can get back to in person in the spring, and we usually do one every spring. But just in case, we want to have this virtual tool in our toolbox again. We want to hear about ways we can improve it, or if there's interest to have them a little bit more frequently, since they are a little bit easier to put on. So definitely, don't hold back. We're looking for good, both positive, negative. Make it constructive though. If you have a negative, give us a solution or a suggestion so that we can improve everyone's experience and get more of you guys engaged going forward. You're on mute.
Yep, thank you. Yeah, just to wrap up, thank you all so much for taking the time to join us tonight. Again, we know that hunting is a difficult thing to embark on without social support. It's even more tough to hang in there and stick with it without social support. So if you've got questions tonight, feel free to reach out to us. Again, as Megan said, that email is going to go out next week. It'll probably come from my email address. So make sure that you watch for that. And then if you have any questions at all, if you jotted something down tonight that you don't remember and it does not appear in the email, let us know and we'll try to find that information for you It's our goal to get you out and get you set up and make you feel comfortable and hopefully make you a lifelong hunter. So with that being said, again, thanks to Scott, thanks to Matt, thanks to Sue and Joe, Tim from Whitetails. Appreciate Megan from the DNR. And I think that I said Scott right out of the gate. Rachel's already left us for the evening, but appreciate all you all coming on and sharing a little bit about your organization and throwing out some sweet swag. So with that, you all have a great evening. Enjoy yourselves and be safe if you get out to the fields, out on the waters, or out into the woods here in Iowa. Have a good night, everybody.
All done.
Yeah.
Hopefully, can you hear Dan sawing out there? I'm like, God dang it.
I couldn't while you were talking a minute ago. So
Good.
That's hilarious.
The headset helps.
Yeah. No kidding.
Jamie said hi to you.
Hi. All my girls are upstairs. Their mom's gone, and you probably saw before we got started, they came in and asked for candy. So anyway, yeah, they're all upstairs getting ready for bed. I'll go up and read to them in a minute and tuck them in.
Oh, I think it went well.
Yeah, I think so.
They were engaged. I think pretty much everyone was asked a question or so, at least either in person or chat. So that was good. So decent turnout. I mean, we had the 50 pre-register, and based on kind of looking at the polls and where our screens were, I'd say we were, we had, I think 36 or 37. I'll have to look when I pull the report how many screens were on, but definitely multiple people answered that they had multiple people with them. So
yeah,
I would say we were probably at least in the 40 some to 50 for participants. So, just as good as your event in January or in March at Iowa City. So, and a lot easier to do.
Yeah, there was no 2-hour drive over and 2-hour drive back at 9 o'clock at night.
Or many hours of planning ahead of time, like you said, and I think it worked out well. I think it was good at just about the right amount of time that you gave everyone to speak to kind of get it started. And I think that helped get the questions flowing, and I think it went well.
I think so too. I think it went pretty good. I've got a spider web of who won what, who won what.